All right, so it looks like we are ready to go. We have everything pulled up over here. Let me go ahead and make sure I have my monitors set up so I can pay attention, so that I can notice in case anything goes on with the stream. There we go. All right. In case anything goes on with the stream. There we go. Turn the volume down. All right, so we're good there, and we are good here. Go ahead and make sure we're set. All right. Hello, everybody. Today is August 4th, 2026. It is currently 1:56 in the afternoon, and this is the beginning of my second of hopefully today 3 study sessions. I don't know if I'll be able to get the full 9 hours in today, but I am currently working on the next set of 3 hours. So if you are interested, welcome in. And so during the course of this video, I'm going to be demonstrating the process of acquiring academic skills, academic tooling. Like most professions, academia has a set of tools that are necessary for accomplishing your tasks. All of the tools are designed to deal with either the acquisition, the categorization, the collecting, or the recall of information. That's the world that academia works in, is information and ideas. And with that, just as with every profession, the more fluid and the more facile you are with your tooling, the more easily you can perform your work. Most everybody understands the basic set of tools. This is, being able to read, being able to write, being able to research, being able to speak with colleagues and communicate. But to me, there are the tasks of academia can be boiled down into 3 basic categories. And those are acquisition of knowledge, categorization of knowledge, and recall of knowledge. Acquisition, categorization, and recall. These 3 forms of tooling enable anyone who is interested in the realm of ideas to become proficient and to become facile in its use. And for me, those tasks are boiled down into essentially 3 different domains, if you will. So the first one, acquisition, obviously anyone who's able to either use a pencil, who has learned how to write, or who can use a typewriter, you're engaged in acquisition of knowledge. You're taking in information and you are recording it in some way. You're capturing it for further study later. The second aspect is categorization, and this is essentially using some sort of notebook schema that allows you to then go back through the information and work with the information in a way where you gain more value. You have added value to the information. And then the third element is the recall, and this is essentially the ability, once you've done all the work of capturing the information and categorizing the information, you then have the ability to present that information in a coherent and easy to understand manner for people to then gain value from. So, categorization, acquisition, categorization, and recall. Those 3 elements, okay? The course of this stream is really focused on the first 2 elements of the training, and that is the acquisition phase and the categorization phase. So for me, my acquisition is currently taking the form of Gregg Anniversary Shorthand. So although we live in the technological age where it is no longer necessary to use the speed of shorthand, which is why it had such a major selling factor back in the day, we no longer have the need for speed. no pun intended, but we do have the need for maintenance of a system that enables you to write and to capture information in a way that is easy on the hand, that is facile, that already has a certain element of compressiveness built in, and enables you to write for much longer periods of time than if you were to be writing everything longhand. So in my opinion, it fills a happy medium in the tools that are available to acquisition. It's not as fast as, say, stenotype, where you're actually typing out the words and you're doing a direct transcription. It's not quite as efficient as typing on a keyboard, where you have the ability to take down exact words that someone is saying and reproduce them in orthographic style. And yet, at the same time, it's not quite as slow or as cumbersome as longhand note-taking. So to me, it fits that happy middle ground. Not everyone needs to be studying it. In fact, I would tell everyone to think twice before you consider it as a tool that you would want to add to your repertoire. It takes a lot of time, and it can be quite rigorous and grueling. Although there are many, many resources now available to enable you to learn the skill, and it can be learned, and there is great value to it, I would still caution anybody before attempting to use it as your regular tool. So for me, it's as much an experimental aspect as an actual. It's not an actual presentation of it as the one true way. And so that takes care of the acquisition. The categorization part of the training is taken up with this idea of the SMART notes or the slipbox method, and this is where all information, if it is information that is worth having and can be turned into solid, robust ideas, then each piece of information, each idea should be able to be written on essentially what would take up a 3x5 card. So this is 2 to 3 sentences at the most. If a piece of information is good enough, is clear enough to be able to written in such a tight constraint, then you should be able to then link that piece of information to other pieces of information in some sort of network or cluster or a framework that allows you to then go back after the fact and to look at the ideas that you've gleaned over the course of your research and then construct something of value, to construct your own work, to construct your own publications, books, lectures, so on and so forth. But you need the ability to, almost like Hansel and Gretel, you need to be able to have a breadcrumb trail that allows you to go back to where the information was stored. And that is the notion of the slipbox method. This is where all information is taken and decontextualized. This means that you remove any sort of contextualism. There is no element of the knowledge where it relies on the source from which it came other than to refer to it, but the idea should stand on its own. It should have a certain atomic quality. Once this atomic piece of information has been stored on the card, you then give it a particular number that tells you which train of thought it is currently a part of. If, let's say, for instance, you have a train of thought on the concept of love, then you would have all the notes and ideas that pertain to that concept or the theory of love are then connected in some sort of stream. And if you then have another stream, you give it another number, and so on and so forth. And in this way, you create a beautiful network that is emergent. It has a bottom-up quality where the patterns the patterns slowly creep to the surface. They're not imposed by you at the beginning, and so this way you really can focus just on the research. You're not thinking about any sort of topical element. You're not thinking about trying to build out a particular argument or thesis. You are able to do the rigorous work of research as a standalone mental process and save the categorization, save the development of arguments for a later step. This is essentially the idea of the slipbox method. And the book that I am using currently to learn and to become familiar with the concept of smart notes and the slipbox method is the book titled How to Take Smart Notes by Sonke Ahrens, a German professor. It's a wonderful book. It's essentially championing the idea that the slipbox method is really the best approach that an academic can take to dealing with knowledge, because your work is completely specialized. If you are engaged in research, you don't have to be thinking about a hypothesis. If you're engaged in the categorization of your notes, you don't have to be thinking about research. If you are engaged in the formation of an outline, you don't have to think about categorization, so on and so forth. Every single aspect and facet of the writing process is then specialized, and you're able to focus your full attention on that particular aspect. You don't have to go engage in task switching, which is a reduction in your efficiency and a waste in energy. So, with that being said, this book, as I said, this book is the subject of my study currently, and it's How to Take Smart Notes by Sonke Ahrens. There's a link down in the description in case the book interests you. And the methodology that I am using to practice is to copy out the book. Once again, I do not recommend that anyone do this. To me, it is a highly specialized methodology that is completely designed to combine two avenues of training in one particular session, namely the writing of shorthand, which it's an art in and of itself and requires development and training of the hand. So therefore, it is of no consequence to me how slowly I am going with copying the book, because at the same time that I am encountering the wonderful information in Sonke Ahrens' book, I am also engaged in the process of practicing and training my hand to gain more facility in the domain of shorthand. So, as I said, I am copying the book in shorthand. You're welcome to watch for a while if you are so interested. It's a very grueling process, essentially watching someone engage in a workout in the gym, but even less fun. And so anyway, without further ado, I will begin. All the links to anything that I use in anything I use in the course of this video are down below in the description, so feel free to take a look at any of that, any of those links, any of the material. Let me begin. So I'm currently on page 109. We just finished out section 12.1. There are 14, I believe it's 14 or 15, let me see. Let's go to the end of the book, and there are 14 sections in the book. The book is 150 pages long, and so I'm really coming close to the end. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, like I said, I'm on section 12.2, and I am reading through the portion called Make Smart Connections, and this is where we were working last. I believe we had just finished the first paragraph of the book, so let me zoom out here, jump on over, and we had finished with thoughts, and that is the last word of the first paragraph of section 12.2, the end of the first paragraph of section 12.2. Now moving forward to page 110, we now have the next paragraph, and these are, so this is an entry paragraph of the way that Niklas Luhmann, who was a German professor who did a huge, he was a major factor in the understanding of the slipbox. In more recent years, he's had one of the more complete and more exhaustive versions of the slipbox note-taking framework, and so he's the subject of Ahrens' work, and really the springboard from which Ahrens then builds his arguments for why the slipbox method is so effective. And it was, objectively speaking, very, very effective. It's not a theoretical system. It has real working benefits and true tangible results. So here we go. Luhmann used 4 basic types of references. So Luhmann used 4 basic types of reference. 4 basic types of references, of cross-references, and that is a hyphenated word. And that was according to Schmidt, 2013, page 173F. So this is Schmidt, 2013, section or page 173F. 173 and then F. Okay, there we go. 17 should be curved. Yep, it's curved correctly. 173F. All right, and colons. So we're going to then detail what those values were, or what those cross-reference types were. Oh, there are 2 of them. So it's Schmidt 2013, and then there's also another. So I failed to see that was the end of the reference. There's also Schmidt 2015, page 165. So we have Schmidt 2015 was this reference. 2015 and page 165. 165F. Also F. And now we move on to the next sentence. Only the first and last are relevant for digital versions. Only the first and last are relevant for digital versions. Let's give ourselves a little bit more room down here. So we go digital versions, okay, of the slipbox, semicolon. The other 2 are merely compensating. The other 2 are merely compensating for the restrictions, and restriction is going to be RST restrictions. Let's go ahead and see if that is correct. Restriction it's a brief form, so we don't have to do the full name for it. So let's go ahead and do RS and then K shun. So this is restrictions, and make it plural, of the analog pen and paper version and then analog is going to be analog. Let's see if that is correct, because I know that's analysis. So analog. So analog. Let's go ahead and check and see if that's correct. That's analog. That's the British spelling, but we have analog here. That's analogy. That is analogous. So analog, I think, would be, we will need to add that word, the analog pen and paper version. So we will definitely add that word. That's analog, L-O-G, because if we look up log, that's logic. Log is not a word. We have log, so like logwood. So we actually need to add a couple words to the, dictionary. Log and analog. So even though it seems very, very simple, a word like log, let's say that you're a beginner in Gregg Shorthand and you're using the website, then you would have no way of knowing how exactly you were supposed to do, how exactly you were supposed to use the word. That was actually one of the things that I ran into when I first started learning Gregg Shorthand, and I was trying to copy out the most simple words. I think it was the word ant, like the busy ant on the ground, and I was sitting there thinking, okay, how am I supposed to write this? And now, of course, this many years after encountering Gregg, it's so simple. But at the moment, when you're a beginner, you really don't know how to make the strokes. And so the more examples you have, the more words you have so that you can see the pattern and the developments of the ideas, the easier it becomes. It's all about making it easier for the learner. Easier in the right way. You still have to put in the hard work, but it's easier in that you have more examples. So we have analog, pen and paper version. In the analog, pen and paper version, move the page down. Pen and paper version. You don't need to concern yourself with them if you use the digital program. And of course, since we're copying, we're going to concern ourselves because we have to write it down. You don't need to concern yourself. So you don't need to concern. I believe that's just cons. Let's check it. Yep, if I can spell correctly. Concern. And it requires consent, so we do need the full value. You don't need to concern yourself with them if you use the digital program. With them if you use the digital program. Digital program. And that's period. So now here's the first one. Let's go ahead and read back over this paragraph, and then we will begin on the first type of note. So we grab the highlighter, save the page, and we begin. Lumen used four types, four basic types of cross references according to Schmidt 2013, page 173F, and also Schmidt 2015, page 156F. Only the first and last are relevant for digital versions of the slip box. The other two are merely what? Compensating. I forgot compensating, but I do need to check merely. Yep, that is merely good. Are merely. So only the first and the last are merely and then compensating for restrictions. So compensate is going to be compensating. Let's see if that is the variation for it. Yep, that is compensate. Good. Let's make the K just a little bit smaller. Compensating for... They're compensating for restrictions of the analog pen and paper versions of you don't need to concern yourself with them if you use the digital program. And here is the first type. Number 1. The first type of links are those on notes. The first type of links are those on notes, are those on notes that are giving you the overview of a topic, that are giving you the overview of a topic. Period. These are notes directly referred to from the index. These are notes that are directly referred to from the index, and referred to from the index, and usually used as an entry point, and usually used as an entry point into a topic that has already developed. Usually used as an entry point into a topic that has already developed to such a degree, that has already developed to, and then such a degree. Let's go ahead and check such. Yep, that is such. To such, let's go ahead and make it just a little bit smaller. But before I do that, I need to go ahead and save. I need to save the page, and I need to add another page below. So this is how to take smart notes. How to take smart notes. 12.1 through 5, and then this is page number 8. Okay, page number 8. To such and then degree. To such a degree that an overview is needed, or at least becomes helpful. That an overview is needed, or at least becomes helpful, or at least becomes helpful. On a note like this, you can collect links on a note like this, comma, you can collect links to other relevant notes. You can collect links to other relevant notes to this topic. You can links to other relevant notes to this topic. To other, and I need to check relevant, so relevant. I know I've probably checked that I don't know how many times, but and is it relevant? Relevant. That is correct. Good. Relev. So other, oh, and this should be segment mode. There we go. Good. Clean this up. Other relevant. On this note, you can collect links to other relevant notes to this topic. Other relevant notes to this topic. Other relevant notes to this topic or question. Or question, comma, preferably with a short indication. Preferably, so we go preferib, and then maybe it goes down. So let's see if we go preferably would probably be something along those lines. Let's go check it. Preferab. That's preferable, so it actually does require the B to be separate. Makes sense. So now that would actually be preferability. So really that is dependent on what sort of context the word finds itself in. So that's preferable, and that's preferably. And then going on, what's that? We have, you can collect preferably with a short indication of what to find on these notes. Preferably with short and then indication. So this is indication, like so. Let's see if that's correct. Yes, no need for the A though, it's just indiction. So we go indication of what to find on those notes. Of what to find on those notes. One or two words or a short sentence is sufficient. So one or two words or a short sentence is sufficient. One or two words or a short sentence or a short sentence is, and then sufficient is suf. like so, is sufficient. And that's the end of the paragraph. So let's go ahead and check that. Let's go to sufficient. Yes, very nice. So there is sufficient. Okay. Okay. This kind of note helps to structure thoughts. Period. This kind of note helps to structure. Let's go to structure thoughts. It's to structure thoughts and can be seen as an in-between. It helps to structure thoughts and can be seen and can be seen as an in-between step, as an in-between step toward the development of a manuscript. Toward the development of a manuscript. Okay? Period. Above all, they help orient oneself. So this is above all, they help to orient. Orient is I think it's orient. Orient. Let's see. Orientate. Orientate. There we go. Orientate. So we just take that form and then we add an A to it. So you get orientate. Okay? So we'll just move this down. It helps to orientate oneself within the slip box. Oneself within the slip box. Let me go ahead and check oneself. See if it's a word. And yes, it is. Now, what's interesting is that they put the U hook in front. So it's not quite as curved for one. It's out just a little bit like that. So that's oneself. All right? They help to orientate oneself within the slip box, period. You will know when you need to write one. You will know when you need to write one. Okay. Lumen collected up to 25 links. Lumen collected up to, and then 25 links. Oh. Up to 25 links to other notes on these kind of entry notes. To other 25 links to other notes on these kinds. Yes, on these kind of notes. On these kind of notes, period. They don't have to be written in one go. They don't have to be written in one go, as links can be added over time. As links can be added over time, comma, which again shows how topics can grow organically, which again, comma, which again, comma, no, which again shows how topics can grow organically, which again shows how topics can grow organically. So that one is going to be organic, organ, and then ick. So let's see. It could be this form if we go org, and then ick, and then icky, or organically. Okay, not quite. So, it needs the end. So you see organically would be that correct form. The only difference is that it needs an in. So we go organically. Okay, period. What we need is relevant. What we think is relevant for a topic. What we think is relevant for a topic, and what is not depends on our current understanding. And what is not is dependent on our, let's fix this. So this is on our current understanding, and current is KRNT, I believe. Current understanding. Let's see if that's correct. What we think is relevant and what is not depends. Well, that's dependent, because depends is just D and then the pent ending. So if we go depend, yes. So depended and then dependent is the turn up. So let's go ahead and fix this. So we have depend, depends. It depends. Where's that? It depends on our current understanding. On our, and then current, I need to check as well. That's correct. The only difference is that it needs to have an E added between the two consonantal blends. Current understanding. And what is not depends on our current understanding and should be taken quite seriously. And should be taken quite seriously. Colon, it defines an idea as much as the facts it is based on. It, and then define is going to be maybe that. It defines. Let's see if that's define. Ah, it's the DF, so it curves around. So we get to use that one here. It defines. It defines an idea as much as the facts it is based on. It defines an idea as much as the facts it is based on. It is based on, period. What we regard as being relevant for a topic, what we regard as being relevant for a topic and how we structure it will change over time. And how we structure it will change over time, period. The change might lead to another note with a different. The change might lead to another note with a different, comma, more adequate topic. More and then adequate. So this is adequate. What is adequate? What is adequate? Adequate. Let's check that out. There's adequate. More adequate. Topic. Topic or heading? Yes, topic structure. Topic structure. Comma, which then can be seen as a comment, which can then be seen as a topic, no, which can then be seen as a comment, which can then be seen as a comment. Let's see if that's comment. No need for the E, but that is the structure. Which can be seen as a comment on the previous note. On the, and then previous, so that's previous note. Previous note. Yep, that's correct as well. Go ahead, fix it. So we have on the previous note. There we go. Thankfully, it won't make all the other notes redundant. So we have thankfully. Oh, it's interesting. I don't know if I've had to do thankful yet. Thankful. Oh, okay. All right. Easy enough. there's our mouse. There we go. We go thankfully. So that's thankfully. Thankfully. That curves down just a little more. Comma. It won't make all the other notes redundant. It won't make all the other notes redundant, and redundant is redundant. See if that's correct. Redundant. Yep, it just needs to have an E in between, so fix that up here. We have redundant. All right? Makes all the other notes redundant, period. As mentioned before, comma, no, as mentioned before, colon. All we have to do is to change. All we have to do is change the entry in the index, the entry in the index to this new note, to this new note, and / or indicate, and / or, and the or, and / or, indicate on the old note. So this is indicate on the old note that we now consider a new structure more fitting. That we now consider, should be consider, a new structure, a new structure more fitting. End of paragraph. Okay, very nice. So that was the first type of note. So the first type of note is a heading type of note, okay? And so let's go ahead and read back through and understand this in context. So we go back here to the first type of note. We're looking for number 1. Number one. I should underline that number 1 so that it's easy to understand. That was Schmidt. We're getting close because that one was the Schmidt reference. And there's number 1. Let's go ahead and underline number 1 so that we understand we're dealing with a number. Now, before we go on, I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of water. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's go ahead and read through. Number 1. The first type of links are those on notes that are giving you the overview of a topic. These are notes that are directly referred to from the index, and usually used as an entry point into a topic, as that has already developed to entry point to a topic that has already developed to such a degree that an overview is needed, or at least becomes welcome. No, becomes helpful. On a note like this, you can collect links to other relevant notes to this topic or question, preferably with a short indication of what to find on this note. And then here's a parenthesis, 1 or 2 words or a short sentence is sufficient. This kind of note helps to structure thoughts and can be seen as an in-between, can be seen as an in-between step toward the development of a manuscript. I want to check development one more time. Yep, that's development. Good. Okay. Go ahead and fix this up a little bit here. So as a development of a manuscript, above all, these help, above all, they help to orientate oneself within the slipbox. You will know when you need to write one. Lumen collected up. Lumen, let me go ahead and turn this off. Also need to turn the brightness down. Where's the modes? We do not disturb. Set, ready to go. All right. Lumen collected up to 25 links to other notes on these kinds, right? On these kind of entry notes. Yeah, let's go ahead and do entry right here. On these kind of entry notes, they don't have to be written in one go, as links can be added over time, which again shows how topics can grow organically. What we think is relevant for a topic and what is not is is dependent, no, and what we think is not depends on our current understanding and should be taken quite seriously. It defines an idea as much as and that's as much as, so let's go ahead and fix that because this is a good phrase to practice, as much as the facts it is based on, what we are, what we regard. There we go. What we regard as being relevant for a topic and how we structure it will change over time. The change might lead to another note with a different, more adequate topic structure, which can then be seen as a comment on the previous note. Thankfully, it will not make all the other notes redundant, as mentioned before. All we have to do is change the entry note entry in the index to this new note and / or indicate on the old note. Let me check old. Yep. On the old, let's go ahead and curve it up just a little more. On the old note that we now consider. Let's go ahead and look up the word for consider. Okay, curves the other way. That we now consider a new structure more fitting. It's the end of the paragraph, and now we continue. So we go ahead and grab the pencil. A similar, though less crucial, kind of link collection. This is number 2. Similar, and similar is simil. A similar, though less crucial kind of link connection, though less crucial, and crucial is just crucial, right? Yep. Though less crucial kind of note, a less crucial kind of link collection, of link collection is on those notes, is on those notes that give an overview, of a local physical cluster of local. So is that local? Look up local. Oh, just loc. Yep. Of a local. Now, if that's the case, then let's look up what location is. Okay, that makes sense. So location and local are the same. The only difference is that local gets a, or that location gets a shun ending. So we go local, comma, physical cluster of the slip box. Local, comma, physical, and physical requires you to connect it, correct? Physical, a local, comma, physical. No, you disjoin them. Makes sense, makes sense. Physical. Cluster of the slip box, and cluster is K. Cluster of the slip box. Okay? Period. This is only necessary if you work with pen and paper. This is only necessary right? Ah, come on. Woo! All right, let's try that now. Necessary? Yes, and it just curves back in on itself, so and slight curve down, so necessary. Yeah, necessary if you work with pen and paper like Lumen. If you work with pen and paper like Lumen. Period. While the first type of note gives an overview, while the first type of note gives an overview of a topic, comma, regardless of where the notes are located, regardless of where the notes are located within the slip box, Let me go ahead and add another note here, or another page below. How to take smart notes, page or section 12.1 through 5, page 9. Okay. Notes are, and then located within the slip box. So we go located within the slip box, comma, this type of note is a pragmatic way this type of note is, and then pragmatic, P-R-A, we go, prag, and then matic should be the sign underneath. Okay, let's check that out. We do need to have a little bit more, so it's pragum, and then attic goes on the end. So we'll go ahead and add that. Here we go. We need pragmatic. There we go. It's a little long on the M, but it's okay. Is a pragmatic way of keeping track of all the different topics. So this type of note is a pragmatic way of keeping track. Pragmatic way of keeping track of all the different types of all the different types of notes, of all the different types of topics discussed on the notes, discussed on the notes that are physically close together, that are physically close together. As Luhmann put notes between notes, as Luhmann put notes between notes to internally branch out subtopics, to internally branch out subtopics, and subtopics, and subtopics. Comma, original lines of thought. So that's original, right? Let's see if that's correct. Original. Nope, it's arg. So we have the j ending. Original. Original lines of thought were often interrupted. Original lines of thought were often rupted. Let's see if that's interrupted. So interburen, I think, is interrupted, INTER, R. There we go. Okay, so we just need interrupted. Makes sense, that's kind of fun. Interrupted. Cute. Interrupted by hundreds of different notes. By, and then hundreds is I think it's hundreds, right? hundreds of, check it, yep, hundreds of different notes, period. Obviously, we don't need to worry about this. Obviously, we don't need to worry about this. Let's go ahead and see worry about. Yep, about this if we work with the digital system. If we work with the digital system, period. Good. No, digital version, not system. So we go version. Good. All right, now we read through. A similar, though less crucial kind of link collection is what we're looking for. So we go back through. We're also looking for number 2. Oh, blast it. We need to grab this value. It looks like I just started to write down here and just went straight on down. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out, grab this particular chunk here, this chunk of writing, and going to cut it. And going to go up here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. There we go. All right, save the file. And now we will continue. So we're looking for number 2, which is right here. All right. Number 2. Similar, though, and I need to check similar. Yep. A similar, though less crucial kind of link collection is on those notes that give an overview of a local physical cluster of the slip box. This is only necessary if you work with pen and paper like Lumen. While the first type of note gives an overview of a topic, regardless of where the notes are located within the slip box, this type of note is a pragmatic way of keeping track of all the different types of topics discussed on the notes that are physically close to the close together. As Lumen puts notes between notes to internally branch out subtopics and subtopics. Original lines of thought were often interrupted, but by hundreds of different notes. Obviously, we don't need to worry about this if we work with the digital version. And then the third type of note is, here we go, so new paragraph, and third type of note, equally less relevant for the digital version. So equally, that's going to be equally, check equally less relevant. Equally less relevant for the digital version. For the digital version are those notes that indicate the note to which the current note, the note to which the current note is a follow-up, is a follow, and follow should have, I think it curves up, right? Or does it curve? Is it an O hook? I think so. Let me see. Not fallow. Follow. It does curve up. The other one's full. So this is follow. We have to curve up for that. It's a follow up. Follow and then hyphen. Follow up. And those links that indicate the notes. And those links that indicate, does it require no need for the A, so just indic, that indicate the note that follows on the current note, that indicate the note as this is only relevant, equally less relevant for the digital version. Equally less relevant for the digital version are those notes that indicate, let's fix this, that indicate the note to which the current note is a follow-up, and those links that indicate, the note that follows on the current notes, that indicate the note that follows on the current note, on the current note. Again, this is only relevant to C. Again, this is only relevant to C which notes follow each other, to see which notes follow each other. comma, even if they don't physically stand. Even if they don't physically stand behind each other anymore. Even though they don't physically stand behind each other. Stand behind each other anymore. Period. End of section. So now we read back over that. Equally, there we go, number 3. Equally less relevant for the digital versions, or for the digital version, are those notes that indicate the note to which the current to which the and current does require the E, to which the current note is a follow-up, and those links that indicate the note that follows on the current note. Are the links that indicate the note to which the current note is a follow-up, and those links that indicate the note that follows on the current note. I see. So that's if you've got those subtopics, then this allows you to access those. This allows you to access those notes that are were broken up in the lineup. Okay, so we'll continue now. So where were we? That follow on the current note. Again, we're looking at again. There it is. Again, this is only relevant to see which notes follow each other. Only this is relevant to see which notes follow each other, even if they don't physically stand behind each other anymore. Final type of note, and this is returning to the more important notes for the digital Zettelkasten. 4. Okay. The most common form of reference, the most common form of reference is plain note-to-note links. Is plain note-to-note links. Period. They have no function other than indicating a relevant connection. They have no function. They have no function other than indicating a relevant connection, other than, and then indicating. So here's where we do indication is still the same thing. Indicating, correct? See if that's correct. Indicate. Yep, and so that's indicating. Other than indicating a relevant connection between two individual notes. Indicating a relevant connection between two individual notes. Individual. This is individual, or is it just individual? I think it's just indiv. See if that's correct. like that, between two individual, and that is correct, two individual notes. By linking two related notes, by linking two related by linking two related, so this is related, by linking two related notes, regardless of where they are within the slip box, regardless of where they are in the slip box, or within different contexts, or within different contexts, comma, surprising new lines of thought, surprising new lines of thought can be established, can be E-S-T, I think that's established, E-S-T-B, and then disjointed, establish. Yes, good. Okay. Can be established. Fix this up here. Can be established. Period. These note-to-note links are like the weak links. So these note-to-note, note-to-note links are like the, quote, weak links from Granovetter. That's Granovetter, 1973. Of social relationships we have, of social, and then relationships is relationship. So it's going to be relationships, like so. See if that's correct. Relationships. Beautiful. We have with acquaintances. We have, so this is, we have with, and then acquaintances. So acquaintance, we did that before, didn't we? It's acquaintances. Acquaintance. I think it's going to be this form. If I look at it, it's going to be A-T-N, int. Hold on. Let's see here. This is going to be acquaintance, like that. Let's see if that's anywhere close. There it is. Oh, it's even easier. It's just AKA, acquaint. and then acquaintances is just the curve goes on the inside. Acquaintances, colon, even though they are usually not the ones we turn to first, even though they are not the ones even though they are not usually, even though they are not usually the ones we turn to first, the ones we turn to first, comma, they often can offer. They often can offer new and different perspectives. New and different, and is different just diff? Yep. New and different, and then perspectives is going to be PRSP, and then a disjointed V, right? PR perspec, and then a disjointed V for perspective. Let's see if that's correct. Perspective. Yes, that's correct. Perspectives, and that's pluralized. Yes, and that's the end of the paragraph. So we read back over number 4. Finding number 4, which is here. And let us begin. Number 4. The most common form of reference is plain note-to-note links. They have no function other than indicating a relevant connection between two individual notes. But by linking two related notes, regardless of where they are in the slipbox or within different contexts, surprising new lines of thought can be established. Yes, established. These note-to-note links are like the, quote, weak links. Let me check weak. Oh, weak doesn't even require the U in front. It is just eek. Are like the weak eek links, and that one is according to Gravatar, 1973. Granovetter, 1973, of social relationships we have with acquaintances, even though they are not usually the ones we turn to first. They often can offer new and different perspectives. All right, so that takes care of number 4, and now we continue. I'll grab a little drink of water. And here's our next paragraph. So this is the follow-up idea after talking about the 4 different types of notes. These links can help us to find surprising connections. these links can help us to find surprising connections and similarities. Connections and similarities. So that's similar, and then we need to find out what just a disjointed R. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that here below. Similarities. Okay. Between seemingly unrelated topics. Between seemingly, it should be just have a dot underneath. Correct. Between seemingly unrelated topics and this is unrelated. Let's see if that is related. Oh, it's disjointed. Related and unrelated, so go ahead and do that here. So this is unrelated topics. Period. Patterns might not become visible right away. So this is patterns might not become visib, and this one is visib, or no, I think this one is separate, right? This is visib, and then bull. That might be visibility, though. We do have to connect them, and there's no need to have much of a difference between the S and the B. So we go visible, become visible, might not become visible right away. Right away, comma, but they might emerge after multiple note-to-note links. But they might emerge after multiple note-to-note links. After multiple note-to-note links between two topics have been established. Between two topics have been established. Yes. T BL, and then there we go. Patterns might not become visible right away, but they might emerge after multiple note-to-note links between two topics have been established. Period. It is no coincidence. It is no, and then coincidence. Isn't that coincidence? Is that coins? Let's see. Coincide. No, there's coincidence. So we have do co-ins and then do ind. So we add that here. We go coincidence, like so. All right. Coincidence. It is no coincidence that one of the main features see if that's features of lumens. So yep, that's feature. Add another page below this. Control D. And here we go. So this is how to take smart notes 12.1 through 5. And this one is section or page number 10. Okay. Back up here. Up a line. One of the main features of Luhmann's theory of social systems, of Luhmann's theory of social systems, is its discovery of structural patterns, is its discovery and diskov, so that's discovery. Yes, discovery of structural patterns of structural, so we go structural patterns that can be found in very different parts of society, that can be found in very different parts of society. Isn't it just so see? So see? Let's check and see. Society. Society. Oh. Oh! Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the opposite of systems. Just flip it around. Okay? Society. Different parts of society, period. For example, he was able to show, for example, comma, he was able to show how vastly different things, how vast, and is it just an E, or do we need vastly? Vastly's not there, but what about vast? It does require a T, okay? So we'll go vastly, how vastly different how vastly different things like money, different things like money, comma, next page, now we're on page 112, power, love, truth, justice, power, love, truth, justice, and justice, and justice. Let's see if that's correct. Yep. Oh, okay. Justice. JSS. JESUS. So we have justice can be seen as social inventions, can be seen as, and then social inventions. Inventions? Is that inventions? Ah, no need for the E, and just an inshun. Inventions. Inventions. Social inventions that solve structurally similar problems. Oh, that's interesting. That solve. Oh, is solve the same as solution? We go solve. Let's see if that's solve. Yep, that solve structurally similar problems. Structurally similar problems. PRBL and then S. I need to check to see if that's structurally, because it could be a lot shorter. Structurally. Yes, so it's just structure and then E. So we don't need the L. Let's do this here. So we're going to go structurally, make it a loop. Similar, clean this up just a little bit. Similar, almost. Yeah, come on. There we go. Whoopsie. And then down. Similar problems. They can all be seen as media that make the acceptance. Okay. They can all be seen as, and then media is Medea, so that would be media. See if that's correct. Yep, they can all be seen as media that make the acceptance of certain communication offers. That make the acceptance. That make the acceptance. This is acceptance. No, it's not that, but I'm going to go check. Yep, it's just X. That make the acceptance of certain communication offers. That's communication. It's shorter, I know. I'm gonna look it up now. Communication. Hey, wow. Okay. Wow, that's it. Commune. So we just need to extend the link a little bit. Communication offers. Wow. Boy. Beginner's luck. Offer. Oh, and then offer is just OF. Okay, very nice. Offers. More likely. More likely. And, comma, and then confiture. Confiture. Lumen. Uh, 1997, chapters 9 through 12. 1990, is this the middle of? Nope, that's the end, so we're going to put this over here. Lumen 1997. 7, chapters 9 through 12. So chapters is going to be chapters. Let's see if that's correct. Yep, very nice. Oh, man. Ah. Chapters 9 through 12. 9 through 12. Okay. End of parenthesis. Parenthesis. Oi. Observations like these could never be done. Observations. So observe is this that's ob. Is that OBS shun? No, it might be observation. Let's go take a look. Observation. There we go. All right, so a little bit close. We need to have the SE shun at the end. So we go observation like that for observation. Observation session. And then that's plural, so we add an S on that. Observations like these could never be done. Observations like these could never be done nor explained. This is EXPL. Is it just that? EXPL? Yep. Or explained. We add a little T after that. By someone who is working with a system. It could never be explained by someone who is working with a system. I do need to check someone just to confirm. I've used that so much and now I'm blanking. Yep, that's it. Good. Someone who is working with a system that keeps things neatly separated, that keeps things neat, neaty. That's probably neatly. Let's take a look. Yep. Neatly, that keep things neatly separated by preconceived themes. Is this separated by preconceived by preconceived themes? Themes goes this way. Themes and topics. Topics, good. I need to check, what is this? Separated? Separate. Yep, that's separated. And then preconceived. Yep, preconceived and themes. I know themes is the one that I added. Yep, themes and topics. Good. All right. Good. And so that was that paragraph. So now let's go ahead and drop a sentence marker and a paragraph and go back to the previous paragraph, which starts with power, love. Oh, actually started earlier with these links. So let's go ahead and jump back there and read through, starting with these links can help us to find. So we go to the previous column over on this side, and we're looking for these, which is right here, these links. These links can help. Oh, and I forgot the H again. That aspirate's going to be the death of me. Okay, here we go. These links can help us to find surprising connections and similarities between something, what's that, between seemingly unrelated topics, patterns, topics. Patterns might not. I said note. Notes starting to be burned into my mind. Patterns might not become visible right away, and away requires a dot, an initial dot to show. There we go. Right away, but they might emerge. Let me check emerge. I wonder what form that is, because I know I've used that form before, but I can't remember what it is. So we'll go emerge here. There's emerge. Good. Move up the page and save it. So this is emerge after multiple, and I'm sure that's multiple, but I just want to check. Yep. After multiple note to note links between two topics have been established. It is no coincidence. Yes, it is no coincidence that one of the main features of Mr. Lumen, he's a luminary of Lumen's theory of society, of social systems. Let me check social just quickly. Yep, that's social. Good. Of social systems is its discovery of structural patterns that can be found in very different parts of society. For example, you also, he, oh, that's a he, that's not a you, make that more of a circle. He was able to show how vastly different things like money, power, love, truth, and justice can be seen as social social inventions that solve structurally similar problems. They can all be seen as media that make the action? No. They can be seen the media that make the what? The acceptance. That make the acceptance of certain certain communication offers more likely. Confiture Lumen 1997, chapters 9 through 12. Obviously, oh no, is that obvious? No. Observations. Observations like these could never be done in nor explained by someone who is working with a system that something things copies that what is that? KP compares? No. That keeps things. That keeps. That's keep. Let me check keep. Yep. A little bit more of a curve. That's one thing that I can do to maybe help a little bit. Is it's a little bit more curved. That keeps things neatly separated by by preconceived, there we go, by preconceived themes and topics. Okay, there we go. Now let's continue. It is important to always keep in mind, it is important to always, and here we go, keep, there's my keep, in mind that making these links is not a chore. That making these links is not, and then chore, like so, is not a chore, comma, a kind of file box management. A kind of file box management. Maintenance, not management. Maintenance. That's maintenance. I think it might be that. Let's check it out. Maintenance. No, it's even shorter. Maintenance. Interesting. Maintenance. Putting more emphasis on the end. Maintenance. There we go. And period. The search, and search is here. The search for meaningful connections, is a crucial part of the thinking process. Once again, thought is everything. Meaningful connections is a crucial part of the thinking process. Is a crucial part of the thinking process towards the finished manuscript. Towards the, and then finished manuscript. Period. But here it is dealt with in a very concrete way. But here it is, and then dealt is Delt? Is that delt? Let's see. Yep. Ouch. That's dealt. All right. But here it is dealt with. Let's fix that here. It is dealt with in a very concrete way. In a very concrete way. Yes, period. Instead of figuratively searching our internal memory, figuratively, this is going to be and then tively. Let's see if that's correct. Figurative. We do have to have the R and the A, so let's go ahead and fix that here. Oh, and it flips around the other way. That also is a little different. Figuratively, instead of figuratively searching our internal memory, figuratively searching our internal memory, comma, we literally go through the file box. We literally go through the file box or slip box, right? And look for connections. And that one is, we literally go through. So let's take a look at literally. Yep, we just need to go literally. Yep. Good, good. We literally go through the file box and look for connections. And look for connections. By dealing with actual notes, by dealing with actual notes, comma, we are also less prone to imagine connections. We are also less prone to imagine connections, and imagine is imagine, I believe. Let's check that. Yep. To imagine connections where there aren't any. To imagine connections where there aren't any, comma, as we can see in black and white, as we can see in black and white. It should be white. Yep, black and white, if something makes sense or not. If something makes sense or not. And sense or not. And that's the end of the paragraph, so now we read back over it. Here we go. It is important, that's where we start. It is important to always keep in mind that making these links is not a chore, a kind of file box maintenance. The search for meaningful connections is a crucial part of the thought of the thinking process towards the finished manuscript. But here it is dealt with in a very concrete way. Does concrete have the E on the outside of the R? Nope. In a very concrete way. Instead of figuratively searching our internal memory, we literally go through the file box or the slip box and look for connections. But by dealing with actual notes, you are also less prone to imagine connections where there are not any. As we can see in black and white, if something makes sense or not. There's the period. So now we continue. Okay. As we are making these connections is the next one. As we are making these connections, we build up an internal structure of the slip box. We build up an internal structure of the slip box, comma, which is shaped by our thinking, which is shaped by our thinking, period. While this structure builds up externally, externally and independently of our limited memory, and independently of our limited memory, limited memory, comma, it will, comma, in return, it will in ret, I think is return. Yep. In return, shape our thinking. It will, in return, shape our thinking as well and help us to think as well. Comma? No. Just as well. As well. And help us to think in a more structured way, and help us to think in a more structured way, period. Our ideas will be rooted in a network of facts. Our ideas will be rooted in a network of facts. Thought through ideas. This is thought through ideas and verifiable references and verify. So this is verif and then buyable is going to is added to it. So we have does it curve verifiable and fiable probably. Let's go ahead and check that out and see. Oh, okay. Is how do you spell verifiable? So that's verify and then bowl, verifiability. So I need to add those terms to the slip box, not the slip box, to the dictionary. So I need verifiable, verifiable, and verifiability. There we go. So for right now, though, we're going to do verifiable, and that's just F and then B. So that takes the full stroke length. We go verifiable, like so. All right, so that's verifiable references. Period. The slip box is like a well-informed but down-to-earth. The slip box is like well-informed, but down-to-earth communication partner. But down-to-earth communication partner, and that's oh, this one I know, it's communication partner, like so. Let's see if that's partner. I need to check communication one more time. Communication. Yep. And then partner. Okay, so it's part and then ner. Okay, makes sense. Zoom down the page a little. Let's add another page after this, and this is how to take smart notes, page 12.1 through 5, and this is page number 11. Good. Save. Zoom back up and check this out. So, down to earth communication partner. Who keeps us grounded? Just the opposite of ChatGPT. Who keeps us grounded. Comma, if we try to feed it some lofty ideas. If we try to feed it some lofty ideas, comma, it will force us to check first. It will force us to check, and check is just the CH, right? Nope, it is the CHEK. So it will force us to check first, colon, what is the reference? What is the reference? Question mark. How does that connect to the facts? How does that, and then connect to the facts? To the facts. How does that connect to the facts and the ideas we already have? And the ideas we already have. And that's the end of the paragraph. So now we read through. And that's also the end of 12.2. So now we're on 12.3. Boom, nice. Now let's go ahead and continue. So we have as. As we are making these, as we are making these connections, we build up an internal structure of the slipbox, which can shape the which is shaped by our thinking. Well, this structure builds up externally and independently of our limited memory. Let's look up independently. Yep, independent, and then independently. We just add an E to that. Builds up independently of our limited memory. It will in what? It will in return, let me check return again. Yep. In return, shape, it will in return shape. I need to check shape. Yep, maybe make the S just a little bit smaller so that it doesn't look like a TH or something. There we go. It will shape our thinking as well and help us to think in a more structured way. Our ideas will be rooted in a network of facts, thought through ideas and verifiable references. The slipbox is like a well-informed but down-to-earth communication partner who keeps us grounded. If we try to feed it some lofty ideas, it will force us to check first. What is the reference? How does it how does it how does this, how does that connect to the facts and the ideas we already have? And that's the question. All right, I will be back in just a little bit. All right, so we're back at it. Here we are. And let me just pull this up here. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. That was the end of the question here, and that's also the end of 12.2. So I'm going to have to head out in just about 15 minutes, so we'll go ahead and get as much as we can done of this first paragraph of 12.3. So we have a new paragraph line, and we begin, which is 12.3, compare, correct, and differentiate. So we have 12.3, compare, correct, and differentiate. So compare, I believe, is this. Let me check. No, just KPR. Okay, so it's compare, correct, and differentiate. And then differentiate, so that's I don't know, differentiate. Let's first check compare, correct. That's correct, and differentiate. Differentiate. There it is. So we have initiate. Initiate. Oh, and it flips around. So we go initiate. There's differentiate, okay? And that's the line. So now we begin. And that is, if we use the slip box for a while, if we use the slip box for a while, comma, we will inevitably find a sobering discovery. We will inevitably, so this is inevitable, that's inevitable. Let's see if that's inevitable. Inevitable. Correct. We just need to have an E in front. Okay. So this is inevitable, and then we'll add a little circle. We will inevitably make a sobering discovery. Make, and then sobering is S-O-B, and then an E on the end, so sobering. Let's see if that's correct. Yes, that is sober. So let's go ahead and put an S, make the S just a little bit more pronounced. So, a sobering discovery. So this one is discovery. Colon. The great new idea you were about to add. The great new idea you were about to add to the slip box turns out to be already in there. Turns out to be already in there. Period. Even worse, chances are, this idea, even worse, chances are, even worse. Let's check and see if that's worse. Oh, nope, that's worse. Even worse. Chances are this idea wasn't even yours. Even worse. Chances are comma, this idea chances are this idea wasn't even yours. Chances are this idea wasn't even yours. Wasn't even yours. Yours. What is yours? That's yourself. Yours. Wasn't even your. I think you can just do you. Wasn't even yours. Comma, but someone else's. But someone else's. Period. Having the same thought twice or mistaking another person's idea. So having the same thought twice, and twice is where we can do the little line underneath. If we take a look at that. That has to have the diphthong. So we go twice, having the same thought twice, or mistaking another person's idea, or mistaking another, other, is that another? Hold on. Yep, it's mistaking another person's idea for our own is far from unusual. For our own is far from unusual. 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 Go check this. Yes, unusual. Good. It's far from unusual. Period. Unfortunately, most people never notice. Unfortunately, so this is unfortunately. I think that's unfortunate. Check that. Unfortunately, most people never notice this humbling fact. Never notice this humbling, and that's humbling fact. Let me check humbling. Yep. Humbling is not there, but humble is, right? Yes. Oh, and it curves the other way. All right, and then with this, I am going to have to head out. I'm going to have to head out right now, so let's go humbling fact, okay? Because they have no system that confronts them. So let's finish this out. Because they have no system that confronts them, that confronts them. with already thought thoughts. Confronts them with already thought thoughts. All right, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. So let's go ahead and leave it for now. Thank you very much for joining in. I will catch you on the next one. So you take care, and I'll see you probably in about 40 minutes to an hour. So, adios.